Hello class, welcome to lesson 6.3, which is on translating complex expressions. So translating expressions from words to math will help you solve word problems. The following is a list of words that mean the operations to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Right, so I'm going to read this list to you. It was the same list that we saw in our lesson 6.2. So all of these words mean to add. We have add, plus, increase, more, augment, and sum. And when we see the word sum or hear the word sum, we often put parentheses around it. Okay, these words mean subtract. We have subtract, take away, minus, less than, from, decrease, diminish, and difference. And difference is another word that we oftentimes put parentheses around. I also want to speak about less than and from. Both of these words, I'm going to call them turnaround words because what they mean is I flip the words around, and we're going to talk about that later on in our lesson. So I'll speak more to that later. Okay, these words mean to multiply. Multiply, times, of, twice, squared, cubed, by, and product. I will say of is a very popular one. We see that a lot. When you see twice, that means the same thing as like multiplied by 2. Squared, that means like taking 3 squared is like saying 3 times 3. And cubed, if I said 4 to the third, that's cubed. So that means like 4 times 4 times 4. All right, these following words mean to divide. We have divide, split into, divide by, break into, half, and quotient. And half is really like saying divide by 2, which honestly is the same thing as also saying multiply by 1/2, multiplying by that fraction. Okay, notice the words in bold. We have sum is the answer to addition. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. When you see the words sum or difference, you must put parentheses around those expressions as those words mean to find the answer first. So, for example, if I said the sum of 3 and 4, that means like saying 3 plus 4. Oftentimes that's followed by another operation, and so that's why the parentheses are important. And we'll get into that today. Product is the answer to multiplication, and quotient is the answer to a division problem. Since multiplication and division are done first in order of operations, you do not need to put parentheses around those ones. Okay, let's follow these examples to help you. Example 1. Translate the words into math. So letter A says twice a number plus 8. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write down, I know that 8 is like the number 8. Plus looks like this. A number, we don't know what that is, so I'm going to use the letter N. And twice, maybe I forgot what twice means. I can always go back to the top of my sheet here, and here I see twice is multiplied by 2. So that means like 2, like timesing by 2. Okay, so if I were to take this now and write it as one math expression, we have 2 times n plus 8. Okay, letter B, twice the sum, so that's parentheses, that tells me parentheses, of a number plus 8. Okay, so twice I know is multiplied by 2. The sum is addition of whatever we have here, so a number plus 8. Okay, so we have 2 times the sum of a number plus 8. Letter C, 3 times a number minus 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the math right below those words. Number minus 10. Okay, let's do this. We have 3 times the number n minus 10.
What about the word dentist? Is that concrete or abstract?
Letter D, 3 times the difference, hint, hint, remember difference has parentheses, of a number minus 10. So let's again go ahead and write. We have 3 times, oops. So we have 3 times, the difference means subtraction, of a number minus 10. Okay, so that means 3 times a number minus 10. Okay, and now I know that there is a multiplication like right here, but if I have a number in front of parentheses and I don't put a multiplication in there, that's the same thing. So I could also have written like this, 3 times a number minus 10. Either of these two is okay. Most mathematicians would write it this way. It's a bit shorter, simpler. All right, flipping over to the back side. It says understanding less, less than, and from. All right, the word less is the same word as minus. However, the words less than or from mean you reverse the order. So that's that turnaround that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so let's actually see what this looks like when we have examples. Example 2 says translate the words into math. Letter A, a number less 7. A number less 7. Okay, so I know that a number is n, and we know that 7 is that number 7. Now, less means subtract. Less is different than less than. So the word less than is that turnaround word. If you see just the word less like we see here, you don't have to turn it around. So this one is n minus 7. Now, comparatively, let's look at letter B. It says a number less than 7. So a number less than, which I know is minus, but less than is that turnaround word. So this one is going to be 7 minus n. So both of these two look very similar. The difference is in letter A we have just less, and letter B we have less than. Okay, looking at letter C. A number from 7. So a number, we know that from is minus and 7. But from, as it's set up above, from is also a turnaround word. So this one is a turnaround word. So we're going to write down 7 minus n. Now, I know that this can be kind of confusing. English sometimes is like that. But if you think about kind of what this means, a number from 7, it means we're starting at 7 and then we're taking away some n. We don't know what that is. So if you kind of think about the words, it will make sense. Otherwise, I kind of hate saying this in math, but sometimes you just kind of have to memorize things, and those two words might be what you need to memorize in that one. Okay, so going back to letter D, a number squared times 8. So a number squared, remember squared means like that little 2 up there, n times n, and then times 8. So we actually have n squared times 8, okay, which would be an acceptable way to write that. oftentimes, this happens a lot, mathematicians will take, if they see a variable first and then a plain number, a lot of times mathematicians will put that 8 right in front. So a lot of times mathematicians will write it this way, 8 times n squared. They'll write it that way. So I will accept either one of these two is okay with me, but more often you'll see mathematicians write it that way, 8 times n squared. Okay, that is our lesson today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember that you can always pause this video, stop, go back, watch a part again if you're stuck on something, okay? Have a great day and reach out if you need anything.